Hey, what's going on, guys? Today is actually a really interesting video because I actually was able to get a hold of the Season 1 files of Fortnite from over 2 years ago. We're actually going to be going through those files today, and we're going to actually be able to boot up the game and explore the map. Without further ado, let's get right into it, guys. I actually recorded all of this already. Unfortunately, it was pretty bad quality because I forgot to set my OBS back to record mode, so it basically did not look good at all. This took like a few hours to set up actually, so I'll just show you guys what I have for right now. Basically, I'll leave a link to the guy who he has a video on this already. I'll put a link to his channel in the description, but basically on his video you can find these files, and essentially they're the original files, so someone actually preserved them over like these past 2 years. So basically right now it is like from October 30th 2017. It's a pretty old build actually of Fortnite, probably before many of you guys even started playing it. So anyways, as you guys can see, I don't have the Unreal or the Epic Games launcher open. I'm just running the game standalone. Technically, it's an offline version. So yeah, let's just let the game boot up real quick. We have the old spinny logo thing for booting up, if you guys remember that. This is such an old build of the game. I'm pretty sure there's tons for us to explore. But today we're just going to be going through the original map and it's kind of paying a visit to each one of the old locations. So anyways, guys, this is 2017 Fortnite in 2020. This part is probably the trickiest part out of all of this. I'm guessing because right now it's trying to connect to their servers, which are non-existent for this version of the game. So there is a workaround for that. It's essentially hacking it. To be clear, we're not adding V-Bucks. We're just literally trying to access the file to actually play the game. So this is like a kind of a janky version of Fortnite. It's technically modded, but it's also like vanilla. It's kind of hard to explain. But basically, we're going to inject the DLL. Go back here. Okay, as you guys can see, that means it works. These are the original creators, so you guys should check them out if you guys are interested in Unreal Engine stuff. Anyways, this part doesn't matter. You can literally just put anything. And since you can't press login, I'm just going to go ahead and press enter. Alright guys, so they do have a Discord server to get the files as well. That's the guy on YouTube. I'll link his channel. Now, I think my camera's blocking it, but if you guys remember back in the day, Save the World was supposed to go free to play in 2018.
So that was a fucking lie.
But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. Recommend you guys check it out. It is in early access, but anyways, let's try this Battle Royale out from 2 years ago. Alright, so the news obviously doesn't show up because it's such an old version of the game. But guys, we literally are in Season 1 right now. Look at this. I have the Renegade Raider. You can actually choose the default skins. It's pretty cool. Look at her face. Yeah, this is insane, guys. I'm gonna try something in a second, but yeah, we have OG Skull Trooper, Renegade Raider. It's not letting me rotate them to show you guys, but this is literally crazy. Harvesting tool. We have all of the pickaxes. So, damn, I wish I had this one. It's so cool. But yeah, guys, this is literally Fortnite. It's just you can't play with other people yet. But yeah, guys, look at this. Like, it's insane. Obviously, it's not connecting. It's not connecting to the servers. It's pretty obvious, but yeah, I mean, right now, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the graphics up a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna turn this up, turn that up. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to record it in a better quality, so I hope it actually works. Let's apply, let's go back. I'm starting to think maybe it's not like setting it correctly because it doesn't have a place to save my files, I think maybe, or save the settings. Anyways, going through all this, you guys can see it's pretty bare bones. There's not many settings. There's hardly any controller settings. Yeah, this is pretty old Fortnite, guys. If we click play, nothing happens. We can sit here the whole day and nothing's gonna happen. But, oh, okay. Debug camera. You can move it around. Not only that, you can leave the screen, guys. So, that's crazy. It's just a picture. It's not an actual castle. But yeah, that's the Halloween screen for you guys. Alright, let's go back to that. Now, if we click play, it's not gonna let us in. But there is a way to get into the map. Basically, let's go ahead and copy this. Alright. Go into the console. Type open terrain. It'll actually start loading the game, guys. So it thinks we're going to a BR match. But the servers aren't actually there for us to play. So the only thing we can do is kind of fly around like we're in a weird replay mode. It's kind of hard to explain, but you guys will see. Now we can't really do anything here, so what we can do is toggle the debug camera, and we spawn underneath the original map. So let's go ahead and go up. We're at the center of the map, which actually is this tree. Now that I guess we know that now. This one tree is the center of Fortnite. That's interesting. Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, we're gonna go around to each location, and I'm just gonna kind of talk about it, you know. So let's start with Moisty. So Moisty only lasted until season 4, and then after that it became the desert. If you guys played back then, there's not much about this location, but basically it didn't have that good loot. The water was kind of annoying, and overall it just wasn't that good of a spot in my opinion. But the old map is just filled with like kind of random spots anyway. But yeah, this is alright guys, so we are literally in the Fortnite Season 1 map right now. Like, we're in Season 1, essentially. The build of the game. Let's just, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start off with, we'll go counterclockwise, I guess, through every single POI. We'll start with Moisty. So, Moisty Mire. Last time I actually played in Moisty Mire was Season X, because they added it back briefly. Not much about this location that I remember too much, but it's like, I don't know, it just wasn't the best location. Looking back, it was kind of weird because like there was tons of these little shacks around here. It didn't have the best loot, but I mean, it was a pretty interesting spot. The water was super annoying though. So that's Moisty Mire for you guys. OG Moisty Mire from 2+ years ago. On the flip side, we have probably top 5 locations for you guys watching this. Like, when you think of OG Fortnite, prison is what comes to mind. Basically, prison had good loot. A lot of people would camp here, if I remember correctly. If we go inside, actually, yeah, these holes right here, people would sit up top and like shoot down at you. It was kind of annoying. But we're in OG prison, guys. This is crazy. We have the old chest effects. Look at that. Look how good that looks. I mean, yeah, it's just interesting seeing how we can actually like go and just go look at old locations like this. This is pre-meteor strike. This is like months before it actually happened. But yeah, this is OG prison for you guys. The little towers. Sorry if it seems the camera's a little jittery. Obviously, this isn't like an official replay mode. It's just like a debug thing from the developers. But yeah, this is prison. One of the things that I remember in Season 4, there was a battle star up top of this guard tower. So, fun fact for you guys. Alright, moving on. I don't really remember this thing. Must have been there, but when they added the desert, they took it out. I don't really remember. Alright, now, OG racetrack. This one's interesting because it's literally just a dirt lot if you look at it. I think it's laid out almost exactly like how the one in the desert was. They had these little tires right here. It looks pretty similar, not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, not much to this POI, honestly. A lot of this map, you'll notice, is just open space. Like, they didn't really... It only took them 2 months or 3 months, like, to make this whole entire game. Or BR, actually. So, the fact that they even added stuff like this is pretty crazy, because PUBG didn't really have... It just had a bunch of open areas, like, not much to it. But you can tell, they had plans, you know? The fact that this actually became a racetrack, I mean, it's just crazy how it evolves, but OG racetrack for you guys. Alright, I'm back. So now let's go over RV Park. Honestly, didn't really see many changes throughout the entirety of Chapter 1. I mean, they hardly had any changes at all. Like, it's pretty much the same as always. So yeah, that's RV Park. Lonely Lodge is pretty similar case. I mean, it's seen some changes, some additions, but it's overall the exact same. I think they did update some things over Chapter 1. Alright, now we have Wailing Woods. Now, Wailing Woods, I remember there was like this one chest in the middle. People would land here and it was basically like super contested back in the day. Overall, I've seen so many changes, like crazy amount of changes. Basically, it was like this weird fortress looking thing. Pretty cool looking now that I look at it. Not really much to say about it now, because there's no underground spot. If we go underneath the map, see, like there's nothing underneath here. But yeah, that's pretty much Wailing Woods for you. The rest of it's just trees. Now let's go over to this house. Alright, so this house right here, it's pretty random. If you guys played back in the day, no one really landed here. I mean, it's not even like, it's a point of interest, but it's not really a major POI. It's just kind of like a random addition to the game. We have these houses next to Risky. Now, they were basically here, I think, up until the volcano was added. I could be wrong, or maybe when the block was added they were removed as well. Not much to say about them. I mean, if you try going risky and got contested, that's where you would go next. Now we have OG Risky Reels. Before it was sold to a corporation and becoming a drive-in theater. It's literally just 2 patches of farmland in the house. I mean, not much to say about it. I remember fighting people here before though. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting spot. Has like an underground part to it. Alright, well, you guys know the story about Risky Reels, so I'm not even going to explain it, but that's old Risky for you. Alright, these houses were here up until the block, I think. Maybe even after that. Alright, Tomato Town. This spot has seen quite a few changes as well. It eventually became Tomato Temple. Right now, it's pretty, whatever. I mean, I never really cared for Tomato Town too much as a POI. But, yeah, it has this spinny tomato head and everything. OG Tomato. Same bridge. If I can find it, there's like a secret stairway. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. They must have added that in later. There was stairs that went up. Oh, yeah, it was definitely added later then. Because you guys know there was like a hut up top. Yeah, so I guess before it never even had stairs. That's interesting. Alright, so moving on. We have this area of the map. It's I mean, it's not much to say about it, other than it's probably the most OG part of the map because it was first to go, besides the desert, or besides Moisty Mire turning into the desert. We have Anarchy Acres. It's basically Fatal Fields, but just laid out a little bit differently. I mean, it was only here for like 4 seasons, about. Yeah, it's an interesting spot. Some people, when they think of OG Fortnite, they think of of Anarchy Acres, and I don't blame them. It's a pretty OG spot. Alright, let's keep going this way. I think this eventually became the castle, and then whatever that place was last season, the Rift Beacon Zone, that had like the shooting stars, I think that's what this became. Old racetrack. There was 2 racetracks. This one eventually became a racetrack, as you guys know, with the hoverboards. Or that might have been down here. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was here though. But yeah, they flattened it out a little bit and added in the little, what are they called? ATKs. That's what they're called. Or the quad bikes, quad crashers. So that's where those used to spawn. You know what I'm talking about, the ones with the ramps and stuff. Alright, yeah, that's what that was. That's what that became. Now these eventually became like a movie set, I think, or some kind of warehouse. I don't really remember. Here's where the llama was on top of this mountain. The reason I'm comparing and contrasting is because there's not much to this original map. Like, it's pretty open. It's pretty bare bones, to be honest. Now, here is the part that's interesting, because I originally thought that since it was the Halloween update, they would have added Haunted Hills, but Haunted Hills didn't actually come till Season 2, interestingly enough. So that's why there's a lack of Haunted Hills in this version. Not much to say about it other than that's where Haunted Hills was. Moving on, we have these houses, which basically stayed the same. I think they changed them a little bit. They extended this one to be a little bit larger. and they might have changed the other one, I'm not too sure. Now, here's where old Snobby is, or was. Rest in peace. It was basically nothing. I can see why they added it, because there was nothing on this side of the map at all. But yeah, this is where Villain Base was. Basically just a mountain. Perfect for a villain base. Here is where Viking Village was. I keep saying was like this is like chapter 2 or something. This is where Viking Village eventually became. I guess that's how you can phrase it. I mean, it's just a house on a mountain. There's not much to it. This whole area, like, it saw pretty substantial changes though. Like, it all became snowy, as you guys know. Now here's Greasy Grove. It ended up getting submerged in ice. I mean, when I think of OG locations, this is what comes to mind, because it was literally the only like location on the left side that you can land at. So you guys know it was super contested back in the day. It looks pretty much the same as it did in chapter or season X, I guess. Other than the taco thing that they had. But yeah, I mean, not much to say about it really. One of my favorite locations though, by far. And I guess can move on down to the bottom. And this is definitely another top 5. And it's Flush Factory. Now, Flush Factory was another interesting spot because you either went Greasy or Flush Factory. There was no in between. It's a pretty good spot though. It had tons of loot. I think there's a secret chest. Yeah, right there. This little crate. And I believe if we go down, there might be another one. I could have sworn there was one in the back of this truck. Yeah, it's pretty cool location, to say the least. This is definitely top 5 fan favorite. Alright, now if we move down here, I'm starting to sound like I'm giving a bus tour or something. We have Lucky Landing, which literally back then was just 2 houses. You guys can tell, like, they hardly had anything back then, but I miss the simplicity of it. It kind of brought it made people more spread out and at the same time die quicker. I don't really know, but this is what Lucky Landing was, and they eventually flattened out and raised part of it to incorporate those like tower things. I don't know if you guys remember. This eventually became one of those like temple things. I don't know. And this is where the desert started. So the inverted truck. I remember this. Yeah, it's interesting. This is exactly where the truck stop was. So like I was saying earlier, it's interesting to see how they kind of like plan things out a little bit. This eventually became a truck stop. That might have been, I don't know, because this is where the Borderlands thing was, I believe. Right here is where it ended up being. And then obviously this became the desert, and yeah, you guys know the story. So now Fatal Fields. This is another location that hardly changed at all. It got like a few updates. The major one being that they added real hay to the game. Before it was just this weird, like, I don't know, just like a plant, a bundle of like dead leaves is what it looks like to me. But yeah, that's literally what the hay looks like back in 2017. Everything else is pretty much the same though. No changes. this place saw like hardly any changes at all. This house got updated. This house got like a bottom floor, which if you go underneath, you can kind of tell like they were probably planning something. It's kind of empty down here, but basically that's just what it looked like. I mean, it's not much to it. This is definitely one of the fan favorites though, for sure, and it's still in the game 2.5 years later, almost 2.5 years later. But yeah, there used to not be a gas station here, oddly enough. I don't know why they decided to add one in, but I didn't know that. I actually forgot about that. Right, I probably didn't even know that. Alright, now we have Dusty Factories. This was in the game Season X, as you guys know. The meteor was like right here, right where I'm sitting. This place it's definitely top 5 OGs, so this would probably be like second place. I guess this and Dusty Depot themselves, themselves are incorporated into the same thing, in my opinion. Same POI. They are both here in Season X, so yeah, definitely OG spot. And let's see. Yeah, I remember this police car was there. I'm pretty sure when this was Dusty Divot, the police car was also here. Yeah, interesting spot. Alright, now let's go down to Loot Lake. The spot that has seen by far the most changes in the game. You guys know the entire story, I'm not even going to go over it, but yeah, this is the old house. I mean, you guys know exactly what happened here. Definitely OG spot though. It's not touched yet. Loot Lake, untainted Loot Lake is OG. It's as OG as it gets almost. But yeah, actually there was a broken house over here that I completely forgot existed. I don't know why they took that out. And then we have RV Park, which actually they moved the mountain over a little bit to make room for Tilted, but it's not here because it wasn't added yet. So this is where Tilted Towers would be if we were still in, let's say we're in October 2017. From this point, it would take like I think like a month or two for them to actually add Tilted. So that's pretty crazy. Let me find a spot. This mountain was still here, but they kind of made it steeper. More steep, I guess. This mountain was also here. I think they had one of in Season 9, one of those like floating things, the fan things on top of it. And then of course we have the waterfall. So they actually made this whole thing like a ridge, I think, to incorporate for Tilted. Yeah, this stayed the same the entire time. It eventually became one of the pirate things. Most of the broken houses did. This never changed. They added something to the top of it. Oh, it was a telescope. This is where the telescope was. Looking at the meteor, which is not here yet in this state of the game. And the crashed battle bus, which got degraded over time. This one's interesting because I don't know, it's weird that a battle bus is just sitting here. That's all. And then we go down. This is where the snow area started. What else is there over here? I guess this is Polar Peak, right? Or no, that's over here. Where even is Polar Peak? me think first. I think it's like right here. Right here is where Polar Peak ended up being. So before all the ice, all the snow, it was pretty much just a normal corner of the map with nothing on it. And another location is Pleasant Park. This one literally did not get touched. Like, compared to everything else, it was hardly touched. They made some houses have like different floors and stuff. Other than that, it is basically the exact same. It's pretty much the exact same now in Chapter 2. So, not much to say about that. One of my favorite spots, though. I'll show a comparison right now, so you guys can see. But yeah, literally the exact same. Alright, moving on, we have this little shack thing, this weird looking house. I don't even know what it is, to be honest, but yeah, this spot, it was like if you got a bad drop for Pleasant, this is where you would go. There's a few chest spawns. Not much to say about it, really. It's also one of the locations that became a pirate house. There used to be a car down here. They didn't add that in yet, of course. And up here, what did this become? I think they added a house up here and a piano. So this is where the piano was added. And that's basically, I probably forgot something, but that's the Season 1 map, version 1.8. So, only a month or two before Season 2 was released, this is what the game looked like in its early stages. And yeah, this is the mountain over here. I mean, they changed the mountain so many times, but that's what it used to look like. And we can actually go over here real quick. I'll show you guys. It's not anything special. It's just literally a textured rock. That's all it is. Made to stand out. It was probably copy and pasted from Save the World or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So, I don't know what this weird streak thing is. I'm guessing it's just something with the lighting. One thing though, since we have this map and we can't really play on it, what we can do, there's like these commands built in that I'm sure people are gonna find more and be able to tweak the game. We can actually go ahead and almost start the game. So start aircraft. If we do that. Oh, and I spelled that wrong. I can't type. Okay. Press delete. So you guys can see right there on the screen. The battle bus launches from the island. The starting island, that is. And the storm will actually start forming in 30 seconds. So look, we have the OG spot, the OG starting place. It's pretty crazy. It's so tiny in comparison to the new one. I remember. This is one of the spawns right here. You can see the island from here. Yeah, pretty crazy, guys. A lot, like, basically, most of you guys should be able to remember this. They only started changing it, I think, like season 8, maybe. That's when they started changing it. But yeah, that's the starting island. And this is, that's basically Athena. So, this is the old map called Athena, and now we have Apollo, which is the new one. Which, there's no point in me going in there, because it's basically just, this is just a replay mode. But, we can wait for the storm to come in, start forming. As you guys can see, there's little clouds up there. So some interesting effects. It looks like they're just from Save the World, though. Oh, damn, look how green that is. My god. It's insane. Alright, now if we start going up, we'll see that the clouds will start forming. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like. It's took me a long time. I had to basically go in and do some things with the files, basically install the version and then hack the game. So it took a little while, so I'd appreciate a like if you guys actually did like the video. Sub if you want to see more like this, and maybe even leave some video ideas in the comments. I mean, we literally have the entire Season 1 map to our disposal, so hopefully they can figure out how to add like an official server so we can actually play on it, but you know, that's probably something far in the future. We'll have to see. And again, big thanks to the person that kind of set this whole thing up. Link to their video in the description. Video is not really that straightforward, but they have a link for the Discord server to actually get these files on your computer. So yeah, definitely go check him out. And yeah, that's basically all I have for you guys, so I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, here's some footage of the storm. I want to see it.